Yes sir, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy D Nally, aka Don Squally, and in today's video we are back talking about the Altima. In specific, I want to talk about the oil catch can setup that I have on this car. Now I was going to do an install video on it, but I already did a video on how to install a catch can on the Project G35, which would have been out almost a year from when I am making this video right now. So for today's video, I'm just going to show you guys the process that I use, some of the materials that I use, and of course, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like and how it is working. So I guess we're just going to go ahead, pop the hood real quick, and show you guys what we got going on. Oh, that SER interior though, looking fresh, as well with those 350Z wheels, looking super fire. And of course that engine bay looking super ugly, but as you guys know, this is the daily, so I'm not too worried about what it looks like. So as you can see here around the intake, I've got a couple of hoses here routing all the way to the back. And if you can see back here, I have the hose right here coming from the PCV valve, which just runs from the back valve cover. Just behind this clip right here is the PCV, and that's where a lot of the oil blow-by gets blown out. So what I did was I basically took the hose, ran it around the back of the engine over to here, and then we came into our ghetto catch can setup right here. So this here is going to be the inlet. This here is going to be the outlet. I just put a couple of clamps on here just to prevent it from kinking in certain areas. And then we are going to come back around. I did a little bit of a loop here, again, just to prevent it from kinking. And then this is going to go into the back of the intake right here. Now, there is another PCV valve right here, which routes into the intake tubing. But from my experience, for some reason, the back one just seems to suck in a lot more oil. This one, which goes right into the intake, actually doesn't suck in any oil at all. So I didn't do anything with this hose right here. Now, the reason that I ran it to this side of the engine is actually because on the Altimas and the Maximas, there's really not much room. I could have put it right here, but this would have been very close to the exhaust. If I had maybe a shorter catch can, I could have put it right here as well, but there's a whole lot going on this side of the engine, so I just decided to put it right here. Now if I were to get rid of this plastic piece right here, I'd probably tuck it in somewhere along the side, but for the time being, this has been working perfect. Now for the G35, I did pick up a legit catch can on eBay, but for the beater Altima, this is actually the same catch can setup that I had on the beater G35, and it ended up working really well. Just drilled a hole into a metal water bottle right here, so the inlet sits a little bit lower than the outlet. That way any oil that is dripping into the can's not going to get sucked back up into the inlet here. Now, I've seen a lot of people on YouTube just put a little breather on top of the PCV valve right here, and basically what that's going to do is let the oil just go through the breather. You're going to get rid of that crankcase pressure, which is really the big issue. I wouldn't recommend completely plugging that off, but one of the issues is you're just going to make a mess of your engine, and it's going to get oil everywhere. Right here, I've seen a lot of guys put little breathers on here, but any of that oil that's going to be coming out of the crankcase is going to get all over your engine, and if it gets on anything that's really hot, could potentially catch fire. But what I think I might do is go ahead, cut this zip tie, we'll unscrew the cap here, see exactly how much oil this is catching, and I guess see if this thing is actually doing anything, because to be honest, I really haven't checked it since I installed it here. So I guess I'll go ahead, cut this zip tie, which isn't the most ideal thing to use, obviously, because you're going to have to cut and reuse a zip tie every single time you want to check or empty this thing. But I'm going to go ahead, do that right now, unscrew the cap, and then we'll see how much oil we have in here. And now that we have the cap removed, you can see we're getting quite a bit of oil in there. You can see it at the bottom there, just sloshing around. So this setup is definitely working. I've driven it for, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 kilometers, not miles, kilometers. And that's about how much oil. We're almost, I don't know, I'd say an 1/8 full down there. You can see the inlet hose coming in. The outlet again set just a little bit higher so as not to suck in any of that oil again. And this setup has been working pretty good for me. So again, here is where the inlet to the plenum, the top elbow, is going to be. And then I'll see if I can get back here. Right down there, this hose right here is what goes down to the PCV. But overall, this setup has been working perfect for me. The only thing, again, is just having to zip tie this up, which, to be honest, I could probably just let it hang there and rock back and forth, and I'm sure that it would be fine. But just to be safe, I just drilled a hole right here, zip tied it so it wouldn't go anywhere, and this setup has been working flawlessly for me so far. So for those of you guys who do have Altimas, Maximas, and want to throw a catch can on, this is the setup that I would recommend. Not necessarily the cheap bottle, which I got at like the dollar store for like $1.50, but just with the hoses coming around and being placed somewhere in this area where you have lots of room to play with. It's out of the way and it's still completely functional. Now, one of the reasons that I would recommend throwing a catch can on your Altima or Maxima or any VQ35 for that matter is that when the oil gets put into the plenum to be reburned, it contaminates the catalytic converter, which is one of my biggest fears on this car, is just the catalytic converter either getting clogged or starting to burn up, which is something that probably will happen to a higher mile VQ. So just keep that in mind, that this is kind of a preventive maintenance, and that's why I wanted to put this catch can on here as soon as I possibly could, which for me was pretty much, I'd say, a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks after I bought this car. And with that being installed, I'm hoping that we can kind of lengthen the life of the catalytic converters on this car. But that's pretty much all that I wanted to go over in today's video. So I'm thinking we're probably going to put an end to this one. So if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to smash that like button. If you guys are not subscribed yet and want to see more Altima/G35 content, definitely stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't, for your boy. But as always, I'm thinking we are probably going to put an end to this video right around now. So with that being said, I am your boy Denali, aka Don Squally, and we are going to catch y'all mofos at the next one, man. Peace.